Your first instinct, when you see an extraordinary new building that looks like nothing you have ever seen before, is to try to understand it by connecting it to what you know. And so Frank Gehry's new Fondation Louis Vuitton in Paris looks like sails, and it looks like a boat, and it looks like a whale, and it looks like a crystal palace that is in the middle of an explosion. Some of the innards make you think of Piranesi, and as you look up the stair tower, monuments of Russian constructivism, such as Vladimir Totland's fantastic spiral tower, might flash through your mind, just as you could stand in front, and from one angle the facade could make you think of Frank Lloyd Wright's Beth Shalom Synagogue, his great Mount Sinai in glass. But none of these comparisons matter in the slightest. They are all correct as far as they go, but they are really only ways of postponing coming to terms with the fact that this building is a whole new thing. A new work of monumental public architecture that is not precisely like anything that anyone, including Frank Gehry, has done before. You could call it a 21st century take on the Grand Palais, the wildly extravagant Beaux-Arts Exposition Hall of the Champs-Élysées, and you could also say that it's Gehry's attempt to render his own Guggenheim Bilbao in glass. But even these, which get closer, miss a lot of what makes this building remarkable, just as calling it a descendant of Gehry's IAC office building in New York, which is made up of billowing white glass that also always reminds people of sails, only begins to explain what Gehry has wrought on this unlikely site within the Bois de Boulogne at the western edge of Paris. Gehry, who is now 85, continues to push himself forward, as Picasso and Wright did late in their careers, relentlessly determined that, however important his past work may be, it must serve for him as the foundation for something more than a mere denouement. He has been experimenting with curving glass for years, twisting and torquing it into lyrical, dancing shapes, and here the long quest that began with the glass panels decorating the cafeteria he designed for the Condé Nast building in 1999 culminates in enormous glass sails that are pieces of architecture in themselves, sumptuous forms that give shape to an entire building. Gehry loves the form of the fish as much as he loves sailing in boats, and it is not hard to see this building as the moment when these preoccupations come together into one gargantuan and complex object. Yet another long-time theme in Gehry's work has been his desire to tear away the facades of his buildings, making the structure, what he calls the bones, visible as a way of celebrating the aesthetic hidden within it. And what began decades ago when he started revealing the wooden framing inside the walls of small houses has grown here into exhibiting vast and monumental curves of steel and timber, a framework that seems at once to evoke the Eiffel Tower and an ancient church. This building is muscular, and it is delicate. It is a linebacker with the moves of a ballerina, or, if you prefer, it is Moby Dick with the athleticism of a sailfish. The reported $143 million Fondation Louis Vuitton, which opens to the public in October, was commissioned by Bernard Arnault, the chairman and CEO of the luxury goods conglomerate LVMH, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, as a contemporary art museum and cultural center. And it is not only its architecture that is unusual. There are relatively few private museums in France, and in building this one, Arnault, himself a major collector, was obviously hoping to reinforce a connection between his company and advanced art and design. But it has the potential to develop a brand even more potent than that of LVMH, that of France itself, and of Paris, where more creative energy surrounded modern art, architecture, and design in the first half of the 20th century than anywhere else. Paris long ago ceded its leadership as a creative center to New York and other cities, and not even the vast investment of the French government in such architecturally ambitious